Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I have got some fun Zerg versus Protoss action. It's between two people who are certainly up and coming in the scene and are doing fairly well for themselves. So it's going to be played out on Daybreak, and let's just get straight into this and introduce the two players. In the top right position we have got the red Zerg player, it's Miniraser. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left is the blue Protoss, it's EtherNaL. Now, this should be a fun game, because Daybreak is my favourite map, as everyone knows. It's actually not anymore, I have a new favourite map. It's only recently that it's overthrown Daybreak as my favourite, and I'm not going to reveal what it is, because everyone I co-cast with will remind me every time we get into that. I'll be like, hey Madals, this is your favourite map, right? And then I'll have to explain why it's my favourite map, and it's all very awkward, and I end up repeating myself a lot, so you never want to try and get caught in that net, you know, where your co-casters can make funny things about you. But yeah, anyway, I was saying that slightly ironically, of course, my favourite map will get revealed at some point the next time I cast the game on it. But for the moment, Miniraser up against EtherNaL. Gateway Expand coming down from EtherNaL. I think that's pretty cool to do, because Gateway Expands are good, they work well, it's the current kind of PvZ metagame. I actually think it's overtaking going for a Forge Fast expansion. There's a lot of things I like about a Gateway Expand that I think are really strong. Namely, it's the ability to put on some early pressure. And actually, just the level of threat you can apply to a Zerg player really early on. And actually, Miniraser is going to be going for a 15 hatch before pull, so very brave move there. Won't be getting cannon rushed, and this is actually something you can get away with now. Now less Protoss players tend to be going for a Forge first opening. The only thing you've got to be careful of is a pylon in the high ground into a Nexus first and a Forge up there. That can be another cool opening at the moment too. But generally speaking, this Gateway Expand, the reason it works quite nicely is because you can tech up quite quickly. You can go on for that Zealot Stalker plus Mothership core aggression. You can transition really nicely out of it, get 2 additional gateways at the front. You've got 3 gates then minimum, maybe even 4 gates, 3 gates robo, stargates, all of those sort of things, which actually just give you some really nice punchy timing pushes into a third of a Zerg. And once you start hitting those, actually a Zerg player can really struggle to make things work. So we'll wait to see whether that does come into play here. For the moment, Miniraser getting his gas up really quite early. And that's in a direct response to the scout out. If you see no Nexus here, no wall off here, you know that you don't need a third, because you only need to stay 1 base up, not 2 bases up at this stage of the game. So don't worry too much about that. That gas coming down, probably going to rush out speed. It's the usual thing you'll do. It really helps you defend quite nicely, get some map control. May keep the drones in there too afterwards. It depends what he scouts out from here. And if you do keep it in there, you can get some roaches down too. But that generally isn't super early needed. It's just getting the speed out just to trade quite nicely against anything that could be coming in, and also punish any stalkers that are a bit wayward in their journeys and a bit too over aggressive. But here we go. EtherNaL is going to be moving in with that Zealot and Stalker. Doesn't have his Mothership core yet though. Hasn't started that up, so that's probably the first thing that most people notice, is that didn't come down. We are going to straight away be able to get down the second gas though, so the gas guys are going quite nice. There is speed, and as expected, Miniraser pulling the 3 drones out there, so just want speed to deal with this Zealot and Stalker. And actually by getting speed you mean the Stalker can't get away, and that's really the big benefit of it. But the Zerg is going to discover this and be like, oh, okay, this is fairly normal. Third base getting started anyway, because the Zealot and Stalker can't really stop that. The wall off is starting to occur with a Forge and a Gateway. So what that means is that upgrades will be playing into this. The cannon can come down later on. 10 more Zerglings are in production. Just wanting to try and bait these units forward. If the drones do manage to get a surround on the Stalker, it wouldn't be too bad. The Stalker's actually gonna probably get taken out here even before speed is done, unless it's very cautious. The Zealot though may be able to get this Queen, and if the Queen dies, that would be a big problem. But Miniraser is able to keep that up. Speed is now only 40 seconds away from completion, so this Stalker may just be able to survive, but it'll be very, very close. The hatchery at the third is about half done. No drones until now, just put back in. There's the Roach Warren starting up, so a bit more normal timing for that Roach Warren. At about 6 minutes is still slightly early, but not super early. The Stargate coming up here for EtherNaL. And that's to be expected. The way you can scout this out early on is if you only see 1 gateway here, or only, say, 1 or 2 gateways, you know there's going to be tech behind it, almost certainly. Because otherwise you'd see more gateways here. But these Zerglings are going to come in and start putting in some counter pressure. The cannon isn't quite done yet. It is just finishing up as we speak, so that's going to force Miniraser back. But he's certainly put on a little bit of pressure there. This Stargate does need to get scouted though, so Miniraser can throw down Spore Crawlers, etc. to make sure he's in an okay spot. But the Roach Warren, 3/4 done. We've got the 3rd Queen starting, and here comes comes the Oracle. Is this going to be able to do some good damage? Most likely it will. So, got to keep an eye out for what's going to be coming there. For the moment, though, the additional gas is just getting taken. A second gas there is pretty much fine. If we saw more gas than that, it would be very tech heavy at this point, but just getting up the layer, getting up the additional gas, it's enough to support roach production, and that's the big thing that Miniraser is going to be wanting to do now in case there's pressure coming in. Needs to identify fairly soon, though, that this Oracle is out. There is actually a second Oracle following this up and waiting. This Overlord, though, is in a perfect spot to spot it coming through, and I believe it's got vision right to the edge of the map, so likely to get the scout out there. The Stalker trying to just get a quick look. The Zerglings poking in the front. See no researching at the Forge. That's another big giveaway that it's probably going to be Stargate play if you don't see the Forge researching and you see not too much. But now +1 is starting, but really late. That's a late +1 if you saw that there. You'd be like, okay, where is the rest of the gas going? That would be my question, and I'm sure it's going to be Miniraser's too. He is taking his third gas geyser now. He's droning up quite heavily. A hallucinated Phoenix come in. The Overlord is going to try and get a little bit of information, but is not going to be able to get too much. The robotics facility will follow this down, but where are those Oracles? Here they come. The Overlord straight away spots them. 2 Oracles on their way through. There's only a single Queen here, which will lose a fight against those 2. So Spore Crawlers will have to go down, otherwise a lot of damage will occur. Hydralisk then getting started. An Evolution Chamber on its way down, but this third is going to run into some problems here. The drone's going to take a lot of damage, and the Queen, it can start focusing. The drone's getting pulled instantly, trying to get away. Nice little bit of stutter step micro. The Queen's just going to get vaporized very quickly. Spore Crawlers getting started around the map, but the Oracle is going to push straight in. 2 Queens here, and with 1 damaged Oracle, needs to be careful, needs to micro back, but that's used perfectly. A Spore Crawler starting in the middle line there too. The Queen trying to get away, and if you pick off these Queens, you're going to hurt the Zerg's production quite substantially. Got to be careful coming up into the main base though, in case there's a Queen up here, but there isn't, so that means drones are going to go down. Drones at the natural base are also getting killed. These 2 Oracles doing quite a good bit of damage. Unfortunately, the one in the main base has run out of energy now. But how much do they do? 11 workers killed, 2 Queens taken out. That means Miniraser has no Queens on the field. The first new one only just popping down now, and that means production is going to take a massive hit. That's not too comfortable for Miniraser. He's also lost those workers, of course, and he's got Hydras. The Hydras are fine until this robotics bay is completed and the Colossi come out. Once you get Colossi, Hydras aren't as effective. You can keep them effective if you get some Vipers out and things like that, but you've got to be cautious. Oh, Oracles, be careful. There are Hydralisks there. That Oracle's about with 4 health. Ridiculously close. Meanwhile, this Phoenix is not hallucinated, so is going to be killing some Overlords. That's, of course, very frustrating, but the robotics bay is the big thing. If this third is able to get secured, which EtherNaL is in a nice spot to be able to get that down, then actually, he can start getting out Colossi. He can start really pumping anything he wants and get a very sizable army out. Miniraser really needs to try and put on some pressure now. He needs to try and stop this third coming down, but with this massive gateway wall off, with these 2 photon cannons, a good sentry count, I think he's going to struggle to do that. Muscular Augments is nearly done, and that's an aggressive stance to take. If you're going to be aggressive with Hydras rather, get Muscular Augments. It allows you to retreat, but if you're going to be defensive with them, obviously you're on creep, so you don't need speed, you get the range upgrade. But the Oracles, on their way back in, they're going to try and focus down this Queen. The Queen focusing the damage one, which is a smart move, but just so much damage can be done here. The one Oracle is going to die, the second one racking up a couple more kills. This Oracle already getting 15, 16, 17, probably even 18, if not more worker kills. Very frustrating here. We'll run out of energy, unfortunately, so we'll be forced back, but can this counterattack do enough? Miniraser's only have 56 to 55 workers, so 1 drone ahead is not where he'd want to be at this stage. The first Colossus is soon to pop. The Hydras just going to start working away at these gateways, just hurting the production, hurting the wall off. At the same time, Speedlings coming from around the back, heading towards the natural base. The Colossus is there, though. Force field's going down. Don't manage to trap anything, but the Colossus is going to take a lot of fire from these Zerglings. Getting a Colossus with only Zerglings is a great trade there for Miniraser, and actually means that his Zergling Hydra Force is going to be so much more effective for the near future. The second Colossus getting chrono boost, should be getting chrono boosted out fairly soon. Meanwhile, the third base up and running. The gas income is going to go on its way, but remember, that third for Miniraser only puts him on equal bases. It's this fourth base that has just got started that needs to get secured. The Phoenix doing some more damage here to these Overlords. In terms of resources lost, Miniraser has lost 3 times more than that of EtherNaL. That is how cost-effective EtherNaL is being at the moment, all the while staying on equal economy, if not slightly ahead in terms of the matchup. So that's all good news. We've got the Spire coming down here too, so Corruptor production can start. Mutus switches can come down as well, but For the time being, things looking pretty solid for EtherNaL. What Miniraser needs to do now is get a way out to deal with these Colossi. That's number one. Number two, he needs to make sure his upgrades keep getting pumped. And thirdly, he needs to secure that 4th base and get his macro in a good shape. He needs to be above the 70. It's kind of 70, close to 80 worker count. Then he can start really pumping out units to deal with the Protoss force. But for the moment, EtherNaL, he's on 3 bases. He's doing everything right. He just needs to keep up upgrades too. He has got +1 shields coming down, and that's because he doesn't have a Twilight Council at the moment. Oh, he does actually have a Twilight Council. That's just recently got started. So +2 is queued up behind that. Only a single forge though, so not double upgrading. This Oracle is so nearly dying. How is that surviving? 19 kills on it. It deserves it. Revelation coming down before it goes back. So this is a powerful spell, which I think a lot of players do underestimate. Knowing the positioning of a Zerg army is incredibly strong. So that in itself is good there for EtherNaL. EtherNaL happily up at a nice probe count, 68 there. He's saturated at all 3 of his bases, pretty much. So yeah, he's going to be fairly happy. More gateways coming down, Blink coming down too. 19 Mutalisks are on the way though. This Muta switch could be problematic because while there's a good number of Stalkers with Blink, the Phoenix count is a 1, and that many Mutalisks are going to be very powerful, can engage incredibly effectively. The Stalkers trying to pick off a couple more units here, and where are the Mutas going to go? Probably straight towards the main base, which is going to be difficult to get in to defend to. The Mutas now flying over do get spotted by that pylon coming down. What is EtherNaL going to do? Is he going to just push in and try and engage the 4th? Possibly. The Mutalisks have got to be careful. You don't want to be losing them for nothing there. And Miniraser, he's just got to get a good attack angle. He's got more Zerglings in production. He's at 1-1 upgrades up against 1-1-1. This 4th hatchery, definitely going down. Miniraser's not even trying to defend it. He just wants to base race. The Mothership Core is going to get taken down before it can get a photon overcharge, and in come the Mutas. Now in come the Zerglings. They're going to try and take out as much of this as possible, but just look at this force at the moment for EtherNaL. He's actually going to turn around and come back. Calm mass recall. So this push by Miniraser is going to do quite a nice amount of damage. He's going to be able to take out this natural base almost certainly. Unfortunately, the Colossus as well will get taken out. In the main base, the Mutalisks are taking out the Cyber Core, stopping any more Stalker production. Always problematic. There's also a hidden 4th coming down behind this for Miniraser, but the Stalkers and Colossi have returned to Blink up into the main base. The Mutalisks are just going to come in here and just start picking apart these Stalkers. Only half of them able to engage at a time, and much of their attention was focused on the Zerglings, but a good offensive Blink there means that a couple more Mutas will fall. But Miniraser, he did some nice damage. He took out the natural. He also managed to kill 25 workers, leveling out the workers lost tab, and took out the cybernetics core. That's going to hurt the Stalker count and also the Sentry count. More Mutas are on the way, and this mass Muta switch can be very problematic. Interestingly, from EtherNaL, he hasn't started up Phoenix production, which is something you can quite often see, but Miniraser definitely starting to level things out a bit more, taking out these proxy pylons around the map, but the Stalkers are coming back in. The Mutalisks will be able to trade relatively well, especially when they've got +1 and +2 started already. That's actually going to mean that they do a huge amount of damage very quickly, and as they start reaching this critical mass in number, that is when Mutas can be stupidly effective. Stalkers are back at home, but in terms of the Muta numbers, just look at them go. Good Blink Micro coming down from EtherNaL though, while pushing in towards the 3rd base. Miniraser is in trouble. He needs to stop this army. If he loses his 3rd, that is going to really hurt him economically, and he's just sacrificing it straight away. He's trying to pump out more Zerglings, more Mutalisks. The Muta flock is up at 25, and with the Zerglings as well, he can potentially engage this army. Will he be able to do it though? Here he goes. He's focusing straight away down on the Colossi with those Mutalisks, but now he stops focusing. He's just going straight for the Stalkers. Most of the Zerglings have got cleaned up very quickly. The Mutas are doing a nice amount of damage, but can it be enough? We can see the Stalker count is up at 39, but a lot of them aren't in this army, so the blinking has got to be perfect. The Mutas are getting taken out, and Miniraser, seeing this additional force come in here, knows he's not going to be able to hold it, so GG's out. Congratulations to EtherNaL. Really nice play there from both players, to be honest, and that was a good, fun, entertaining game. So if you liked it, make sure that you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll catch each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new cast. I'm Madals, thanks for watching, and bye for now.